This is a Seawall inspection in Key Biscayne. This inspection is conducted by seausdive on the 26th of June 2014. We're going to inspect the seawall, the radiuses, the cap, and the batter piles, and any issues that can be done. The first part of the property, the first 20 feet, is a sheet pile. You can see it's got some corrosion on the top, but that's very normal. Then we move into the older part of the wall that had an enormous cap built on it with just batter piles, and as you can see, the radiuses of the H piles are completely open. There's no concrete radiuses, which should be. And here, for instance, there's a diagonal crack in the slab. Upon inspection of coming down here, I took the time to inspect the bottom. There's definitely signs of erosion. This seawall does not have any weeping holes to allow discharge of water, so it's basically discharging underneath the footer of the wall. And you can see here the radius is there's nothing on the bottom. Put my mask on. See, the radius is entirely open, and the tie-back covers right here, the holes, this H pile, are completely open, and that should be concreted too, just because it's another way to anchor the seawall, and it's good to have it. Again, you can see the radius is non-existent here. See on the corner bottom, all these heaps of sand, that's basically seepage from the top side. We're going to run around. This is probably very much representative of this entire section of seawall. Down on this north end part, you can see this is where the new cap is finished, and this is an older cap. Again, you see there's no radiuses and there's no weeping holes to discharge hydraulic pressure. So this cap, basically the weight of it is holding the seawall, and it's starting to angle slightly as well in some places because there's so much pressure building behind the wall during rains and nothing to allow it to release. Again, the cap here has some broken areas that were taken off the old cap and never repaired. It's not crucial, but it'd be good to fix it. Again, no radiuses, as you can see. The dock itself, everything appears to be okay. There's some rust bleed, but really the wooden structure is fine. Again, some crack and bleeding, rust bleeding, which could be open and treated on the cap and reconcreted, and it would stop the continuation of this rust to go inside the rebar and cracking further the cap. Again, you can see no radiuses. And also here there's no batter pile, so all the pressure on the seawall is basically on the tiebacks that are coming from here and going into the ground. You can see the amount of soil down here. So there's a result of pressure of water pushing on the other side of the wall, pushing gravel and fill from the other side underneath the seawall, and that's really something that wants to be avoided, needs to be avoided. Right here we have an old step structure, three-step structure that is completely suspended right now and should really be demolished, because it just causes this exterior weight and creates a heavy load on the seawall that is not supported. So either it needs to be supported, which basically makes no sense because it's a stepway to nowhere. It's a deck on top, so that should be definitely taken off if possible. And again, radiuses, you can see here very clearly, no radiuses. And all the erosions in the corner of the H piles caused by the lack of radius and the lack of weeping because all the pressure basically comes through the cracks right now. And by doing that, we're allowing the high tides to go in, and every time there's a high tide, when the tide goes low, all the water that's behind the wall is going to come through, but it's going to push some sediment with it too. Okay, continuing in a southerly direction. Again, rebar bleeding on the cap, and no radiuses. I'm not seeing yet more cracked slabs, but that doesn't mean that it's not there, because the walls need to be jet washed, and that exposes the hairline cracks. We're going to go now under some marine structure, but still we're going to only inspect the seawall. This overhead structure was inspected separately. Again, same condition. No radiuses. Here there's some big storm drain. And the seawall here appears to be newer. Again, there's no weep holes release here, so all the pressure of the water from the other side goes either through these cracks, and then it will leak sediment through them, or it goes underneath the foot. So this will be a potential area for problems in the future. And you can see some of the slabs are pushing outwardly slightly, and that's because of water pressure building up on the other side. So this area is of a different structure, obviously. Now we're coming to the south section of the seawall, which is again has a newer cap and a, if I don't mind me saying, a gigantic cap. It's a 3 foot by 4 foot, as much as I can tell. And again, same thing. There's no weeping holes left to release hydraulic pressure, and that's loads the seawall behind it and just creates erosion. And you can see there's no radiuses on the H-piles whatsoever. This is a very shallow area because we're really on the low tide right now. You can see the mark of the high tide comes way up. And again, you can see the H-piles, the radiuses are completely open. And the batter piles here were put in a very shallow angle, and this gap is enormous. Again, no radiuses, so obviously this is a newer addition, so it's in better condition. Right here you can see an example of how the water is coming in and out. No radiuses, and what happens, see the water fills and then the water kind of comes out, but when this is open and there's sediment on the back, it's actually sand, because between these slabs, this one and this one, this is where the seam is, right behind this H-pile. So that's how erosion happens, and the better the weeping ability of the wall, the lesser the erosion is on the corners, and the longer the longevity of the seawall. I counted approximately 33 slabs on the other side, and there's 11 on this side, so it's 44 total slabs that will probably benefit very much from getting a jet valve installed in them to release hydraulic pressure. That's it. General condition of this section of seawall is good, except the fact that the radiuses are not there and that there's no weeping holes. This inspection was conducted by seausdive in Key Biscayne, Florida on June 26, 2014. Thank you very much.